So a lot of interesting things we have to talk about today. As we do know, earnings is on Monday. We are not seeing a lot of news, so we are selling off. This is really the best time to be buying the dip on AMC, and that is exactly what I have been doing. And we're going to go over exactly why this is. Why when stocks head lower into earnings, you typically see a much bigger rally. The fact that we are not getting any news from Adam Aron is definitely a good sign that we're likely to get some big news coming on earnings. But we're going to break that down a little bit more. I'm going to tell you guys what I have been doing with my AMC position, as well as that we're going to just go over an intraday update, all of the data that you guys need to know. The Ortex data is signifying that we are seeing a short interest spike, as well as we're going to go over the Stock Tracker data and the 13F filings that are still coming out that are incredibly bullish on AMC. So let's not waste any time. We have a lot of information to cover. If you guys get value out of this video, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys make of this sell-off? Are you holding AMC? Have you been selling AMC? Let me know your guys' opinion and your take on this situation. So let's get straight into this video. AMC is down 2.31% as we do currently speak, which obviously not a great thing. We are at $35.21 per share. And really, this is not a great thing depending how you look at this, because as we do know, as I have talked about many times, definitely sounds like a broken record at this point, but all three earnings we have had in 2021 produced us a 60% return back here in March, 1000% return back here in May, and about a 100% return back here in August. Now we are at our lowest level since back here at about earnings, right? When we did rally above $35, now we're just at about $35. We only have been under this for one day back here. That was September 30th. And why I'm so incredibly bullish about this drop that we are seeing is simply due to the fact that we do have earnings coming on November 1st, and JP Morgan found in multiple studies and research papers, you guys, this is freely available data, so I don't want to get into reading into it, but this is widely known data, so you guys can check this out for yourselves to verify exactly what I'm saying. But they found that stocks that sell off into earnings typically have much bigger rallies coming on earnings. Now, stocks can sell off into earnings for multiple reasons, right? AMC is more of a retail stock, so some people aren't aware of the move that we are going to see after earnings. This is not something that a lot of people are talking about, just simply due to people wanting the next big catalyst or wanting the stock to move right away. People get jumpy, they sell out. And a lot of other content creators, they're not talking about the statistical data like I just went over. Every single earnings has been very positive for AMC. So you're getting a lack of attention on the stock, during a time where stocks are just flying left and right. People don't want to hold on to a stock that keeps going down every single day. So that is part of it, but also as well as that, you're not getting any news from AMC. And this is typical for any stock that is about to have earnings, and specifically a stock that is about to announce something big. There is called a quiet period. This is a couple weeks, a couple days before earnings, where the company is saving all of their news for earnings. So that's why we're not getting any updates. Adam Aron hasn't even said anything on his Twitter since October 22nd. All of this leads to an even bigger pop, because ultimately, if the company has been just going down, it's been quiet, there hasn't been any news, coming on earnings, when you do get that news, you get a reason to FOMO buy back into the stock, which Adam Aron is going to give you a reason to FOMO buy back into the stock. That's where you see the biggest of rallies coming on earnings. Like I said, this is widely available data. You guys just look this up for yourself. So what happens after earnings if a stock sells off into earnings? I don't want to read it for you guys because it's pretty self-explanatory and it's easy to find. But that is the situation. That is why I'm even more incredibly bullish now than, what I was weeks ago or months ago. I've never been more bullish today than I have ever been, and that's what I say all the time. But still, nothing on this trade has changed. It's even more bullish because you can buy shares for a cheaper price. Now let's get into the Ortex data. 17.27% short interest. They are indicating that the short interest is yet again skyrocketing. We were just at about 16.3% short interest, so they're indicating this has went up about 1%. Whatever the number is, Ortex data kind of choppy, so take it with a truckload full of salt. Nevertheless, a great thing to be seeing. So 88.34 million shares that are sold short. Let's take a look at the volume for the day. This is intraday, so it's about 1 p.m. we're looking at 17.5 million for volume, so it's probably going to come in pretty typical, right? We're seeing about 30 million for volume on any given day. Also a very bullish thing while we're talking about volume. We're seeing some of the lowest volume that we have seen since we did rally back here in June. Literally the lowest volume that we have seen consecutively, 30 million for volume. Once you do see those big volume days, like we even seen back here, 101 million for volume, we went up about 20%, and mind you, we were right on $35 per share when we did rally. Did hit a low of $33, but anyways, due for a major rally. That's why the low volume is actually very bullish. But relative to the low volume, 30 million for, shares traded every single day and 88.34 million shares that are sold short, that's about 2.5 days worth of buying going into the stock at the current volume levels, just to cover all the shares that are sold short, not even including hedge funds or institutions that are going to take on long positions on AMC, not including the FOMO buyers or just the regular apes that buy into the stock. So that is incredibly bullish. Low volume equals more bullish on AMC. That's what you guys need to know. But the share utilization is at 87.24%, meaning there is a decent amount of shares that still can be sold short. Nothing too crazy right there. I don't think the share utilization really, determines anything. Some people do. I simply don't. But the free float on loan, 20.87%. So there is, room for the short interest to go up due to the, the difference between 17.27% and the free float, which is almost at 21%. There is room for this to go up, but I don't see hedge funds and institutions continuously shorting AMC into earnings. That's just not a smart thing to be doing. Since all of 2021, we've had great results after earnings, and you would have lost a ton of money if you have been doing this all throughout 2021. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that, but who knows? Hedge funds, they're not very smart when it comes down to it. Now, we're not really seeing any chance for a substantial gamma squeeze, not even a small to medium gamma squeeze, unless we were to go crazy throughout the rest of this week, which I don't think is going to happen because of that silent period before earnings. There's not going to be much of a reason to buy AMC until earnings and after earnings. But on November 19th, that's where you're looking at 4,300 for open interest or calls that are in the money, and about 110,000 for calls that are out of the money. And let's go take a look at the option chain to get a better feel of how condensed the option chain is. And we only go up to the $95 strike. So definitely a little, compressed, but you are seeing about 17,600 calls that are at the $95 strike. For some reason, it's not loading. It's not loading the rest of that, and it just did, and I just refreshed the page. So great, but you're still seeing this pretty compacted, not like we're seeing, obviously for this week it only goes to the $80 strike, but at certain strikes you are seeing a decently high amount of open interest, about 7,000 at the $40 strike, $45 strike, about 12,000, 7,000 at the 50, almost 8,000 at the 48. So you can see a little bit of a gamma squeeze, but we are going to see this option chain start to populate, especially if you see FOMO buyers coming in. They're more than likely going to buy the monthly options expiration date, which is November 19th, earnings on November 1st. We typically top out, and I mean from earnings, from the day of earnings till the highest moment, it's usually in between 2 and 4 weeks before we do hit that top, that peak out. So that roughly coincides with this expiration date. So definitely looking good right there. And as far as the 13F filings, we're seeing overwhelmingly high amount of these firms that are just holding on to their positions, and a lot of these are in between $35 and $40 per share as their average cost on their share position. So this is a great sign right here. I've indicated many times a hedge fund would not hold on to a position that they were substantially down on if they did not think it was going to come back at some point into the near future. So I think I'm not the only one that sees this rally coming in AMC. Obviously, hedge funds are predicting this as well. So that is going to be all for this video. You guys, I hope you guys got some value out of it. If you did, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. If you guys want access to all of our trades in real time, definitely check that out. We just closed a short position, a put on Robinhood for about 120% profit. That was a great trade. That was this morning. Hit that on the head. Like, I've made multiple videos about that. We've been killing it. Definitely check it out if you guys want to be a part of it. Link for public, link for Webull as well if you guys want to directly support the channel. But that is going to be all for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.